This is INMF.
Fucking morning.
Looking crazy. It's coming
Looking
in.
crazier than a bitch.
We here now, man.
Yeah.
Cap, what's going on, man?
What's up all around? Shit, you know, ain't nothing but giving them a dose of about a spoonful.
About a
What's
spoon.
up with you, man?
Oh man, I'm chilling, man. I will go put on a shirt, but fuck it. I'm rolling it out.
Yeah,
man.
I see you rolled up your black you Hefner
Nigga, you know what I'm
shit.
talking about? That thick flare. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh Lord, oh Lord. You walk around the house. See, I was gonna say something, but I ain't gonna say it. It's inappropriate as a bitch, and it's childish.
It's probably childish as fuck.
Childish as the motherfucker, be. For real.
Oh shit. How your day been, man?
Oh, it's been wild and hectic, man. Woke up didn't. I was up all night traveling down the into the ether, as they say. End up breaking the tip off my phone charger here, and had to go get a new phone charger. Get to the spot, I'm like, damn, the cord for the phone charger costs $20, but if I spend another 200, I can get a whole nother phone.
Wait a minute.
So,
So you was all night doing what?
what
You
you
said
mean?
you was up all night in the ether. What was you?
Reading, man,
Oh.
reading, studying. Yeah, I'm one of them people, man. Once I get something that I'm interested in and something that becomes fascinating to me, I'm in. I'm in on it heavy, Jack.
Okay.
Like, you know what I
You
mean?
like binge watching Netflix shows, except you binge read books and knowledge and shit.
Correct, correct. Well, going down, like I'm not big on the Alex Jones side of the
Oh
game, where it's
Lord.
conspiracy theory. Real talk,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? But you know, some things like fascinate me. Like I'm one of those guys that, you know, on Marvel movies and stuff like that, when they do the origin story, I'm real gung ho on the origin story. Like I'm interested in seeing where things come from. Almost to a degree of amateur anthropologist,
Mm.
to where I like to study cultures. You know what I
Are
mean?
you a real? Are
Uh,
you a comic fan? Like, because you mentioned Marvel and shit. Did you like follow that shit when you was younger?
Yeah, hell yeah, man. Man. We used to collect comic books and read. I still got that. Got my comic card collection, comic book
Mm.
collection. Some comic toys from back when, like all of them.
I almost choked.
Yeah. So you know, I'm pretty well versed on a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Like I said, they like when they dropped that Sandman recently, that was somewhat surprising. You know what I mean?
Why is that? You just never thought they would
Well,
make it, or
no, like I never would have thought about making that.
shit? I hadn't even heard of that shit until like recently. I was damn. I almost died just now from vodka and
Yeah, I
7
see, you
Up.
look
Do you know?
like a baby on the
Do
titty.
you know? Do you know how bad it'd be to get to heaven and explain that I died drinking vodka and 7 Up?
Mm. So you gonna get up there, God gonna be like, out of everything I gave you, my son, you drink that tasteless ass shit.
How you feel about yourself?
You know you fucked up, right? Like
So,
it was so much. I had so much greater for you, my son.
um, before we get too off subject, man, you had mentioned that you had broke your phone.
Yeah. Well, the charger cord, just the $20 cord to go to the
Okay, just the
charger.
cord.
The yeah, the end. Let me see. I got it right here.
The show and tell.
over the course of
Okay.
damn, it's white.
The
Maybe
one
if
cup. I
there
was
was
saying, this nigga said gotta hold up against his black skin.
that when Andy Ivory was talking about
Shut the
black
fuck up.
skin.
Shut up.
Yes, indeed. Look at that Pelanoid coming through on the issue.
My people.
But yeah,
Yeah,
that
you
been
broke that
ripped
hoe up.
off. That been hanging on
It's
by a
Ella.
thread. I had slightly electrocuted myself last
Quick
night.
question. Let me ask you a question. Why
Yeah,
do you still have it? Throw that bitch in the trash. You be
I'm thinking it still work a little bit.
you go. You can
So
go
I
to.
like maybe I can charge my other phone while I'm
Yeah,
using the other phone, and
yeah. I hope you're okay, man. So with that being said, one day you go plug that bitch up and wake up 2 hours later.
Ryan, it be like the human torch. Flame on.
like old Richard Pryor.
In the middle of the night, wake up hotter than a bitch. Damn, do I got a piss or am I burning?
They
Nah.
trying to charge that phone, send them dick pics and whatnot. You know what I'm talking about?
Hey, dog. It's
Well,
slinging dick season, pimp. Somebody got to slang that bitch across
so
the
you don't want to
internet.
buy another charger?
No, I bought a whole nother phone.
How,
I was
how you
half asleep
how you break your charger
and like
and bought a whole nother phone? Nigga, that
I don't know. I've been like the last few hours I've been rationalizing it. Like, what have you done? Like, nigga, PS5 out there, and they got a suit sale up here at the joint. Like, nigga, you bought a
how much that
fucking
bitch
phone?
run?
Like, what are you? That shit was like 264 out the door.
So
Oh, dog,
for
I'm
for for a
upgrading now.
$20 charger and minor electrocution, you wouldn't drop another $300.
Well, here's what happened. First, I went in there, bought the charger, and then I went into the Kroger, got me a couple of items and shit for lunch. And then I'm like, well, damn. If it was 264 for everything, and I spent 20 already, maybe it'll be 244, in which I'm paying for a new phone, and I get the charger. See, not only am I a salesman, but I be selling myself on that
You high?
bullshit, man.
You high?
Huh? No, I was sleep deprived, man. When I
Cause you stayed up.
correct. So like when I don't sleep properly, I experience bouts of mania,
Oh,
right? To where it's like an extreme high. Like I was popping shit and
what
everything, man.
up?
And then like probably about 6 in the morning, and I'ma crash hard. Like I'll probably fall asleep in this chair I'm sitting in now, with my head on my chest and my mouth
Oh,
wide
that
open.
man. Gotta go check, make sure you still breathing and shit. What'd you get?
Yeah, get him that you okay kick. For real.
Hey, hey. You remember on remember what was that shit? Not a night in Harlem Night. When the motherfucker walked in there on Tommy Strong. Hey, hey, hey.
I do not
When
remember that.
oh
No.
Lord, fuck it, never mind. What you what you
Yeah,
get from Kroger's?
I got me a frozen
At
pizza.
Totino's.
Nah, man, I got the Kroger brand, that premium brand, that pepperoni del Peppo.
Kroger.
Uh, again, I'm experienced about a
Kroger got
mania,
two
so I'm just
brands though.
grabbing
Like
this
they got
shit.
the premium, like you say, with the in the
Yeah,
shiny
yeah,
box,
yeah. That
and they
that
also
premium
got
select. Yeah.
that 3 minute that 3 minute mania, that 3 minute piece of shit where you like you you take the bitch out the box and
Nah,
flip the box upside down, and now the box is like your heating tray.
nah, nah, Jack. We not setting fires in the kitchen and shit.
Oh,
threw that bitch in the oven. Again, I'm experiencing mania, so I burnt that bitch
Mm-hmm.
a little bit. So that bitch all crunchy and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Which is awful. The cheese still popping though, so I may just when I get drunk just rip the cheese off. Got me a PF Chang Dan noodle bowl. Don't
Hey
ask me.
man.
Yeah,
Let
let me
on.
ask you a question. Real talk. You ever be in the grocery store and sometimes when there's people in there, the aisles be like this big to walk through.
Yeah.
And like I was literally from one end of the curl because I know where I'm going. I'm going to the frozen section just to grab some shit, throw in the microwave or whatever to get
Mm-hmm.
me through the night, right? Because I typically do my shopping on Sunday for the week. So like I get me something for today and tomorrow. So I'm walking down the aisle and there's this girl in front of me and I'm like, okay, when she turned, I'm gonna speed up a little bit so I can get what I gotta get and go. This heifer never speeds up. So she's on the phone and like me and my mind like, damn, it looked like I'm
Yeah, on that
following
creep
her.
shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So then I tried to turn to
Uh-huh.
get away from her. And then I like, all right, I'm gonna hit this out and come back up on the next side. So I hit the aisle and she turned on the aisle in which I was trying to get into. So like literally we meet and intersect again like this. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh fuck. Here go this awkward ass
Ships
shit. You know
passing
what I'm
in the
saying?
night.
Like you ever be in the grocery store? Yeah, yeah, like to where it be like, damn bitch, like why are you everywhere I'm at?
Did she
Like,
say something to you? She
gone.
looked at you like you've been creeping shit.
No, she on the phone, but I guess as men, our intuition, we can feel when women are
Yeah,
uncomfortable, you know what
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean?
You
And
know,
it was
creeps
like,
ain't born with that shit. Like regular niggas, like you can sense with.
empathy, nigga.
Is that is that what we're talking about? like, like,
I mean, I guess, but like you can tell like
yeah,
she's
like you can
uncomfortable a
tell,
little bit.
like
Yeah,
I can tell, I can. I don't know. I pick maybe it's empathy, maybe it's context clues. In any situation where it's been one of three things, either no one of two things. Either I was creeping her out and I noticed it, or my anxiety had me thinking I was creeping her out and I was being paranoid. But either way, I reacted as if I was creeping her out. Like I'll be like, you know what?
yeah,
I'm gonna get these Pop Tarts, but I really don't want to walk past her again. So I'm gonna go get some other shit. Then I'm gonna circle back later and get these Pop Tarts on and back out to the register. Like I started devising a plan.
yeah. That's how I end up grabbing goat cheese ravioli and shit.
Huh. I, it,
Yeah, and Dan noodles
anybody
from
else,
PF Chang.
anybody else, they probably be kind of perplexed about it. But I get it. I get it. I bought so you ever see like those emergency sewing kits with the thimble and yeah, I bought one of them one
Yeah,
time. The whole bitch because
just to try to
yeah,
alleviate that
yeah,
awkward
yeah.
moment, huh?
Because listen, I was on, I was on, I was
Yeah.
on like the deodorant aisle. So like in Kroger's, they got the shoe polish, the deodorant, foot spray, and emergency sewing equipment shit all in the same section, right? Yeah,
Oh wow.
it's shot.
Oh wow. So niggas sew
I
their
didn't want,
socks together and
I
tags,
didn't
huh?
want Sean to see me picking up that tough acting to acting, right? So I figured the next best thing, sewing kit. I think worst case scenario, I could be like, yeah, trying to figure it out.
But the fucked up thing about it, once it hit the cart, you can't pull it out, B.
Now you look
Cause
really
then it
weird. Because
really
now it
looks
look
weird.
like it looked like you literally
Yeah.
picked it up to not look weird, and that makes it look weird.
And now
It's
it
like
look weird if you put it
it's
back.
kind
Like,
of like
man,
if
what
you
the fuck
driving
I'm doing
and you
with
drive
that?
past police and then you look back at the police. You weren't looking weird till you look back. Now you look weird as fuck.
Correct. Correct. Nigga turning the Kermit the Frog. I rolled past the police.
Nigga, that freeze. Uh huh. Uh huh.
Real talk. Real talk. But you just like I I guess it's social awareness or social anxiety because truthfully it's all in your head. You
At
know
the
what
end
I'm
of the
saying?
day, she's probably not
Yeah,
even thinking
like
about you. She trying to figure out how she
most,
get rid of this battle gonorrhea she fighting.
Fucked part about that is when y'all end up when that shit happens and y'all end up checking out at the same time. That's all.
No, it's one more. It's one more step. Y'all get done.
Oh, going to the motherfucking car, and then it's like always her car's like directly across from yours, directly next to
You
yours.
walk.
So you got to walk by
You
her
walking
car.
past this motherfucker, feel like you on a motherfucker. One of them Lifetime, one of them USA movies and shit. How it started at the beginning where motherfucker be walking through the parking lot and all you see is footsteps. You the footsteps. You the footsteps.
It was a creep right next to it. That good captain's a fucking creep.
Yeah.
And then you get in the car and you put in the radio come on and it's fucking R. Kelly. Oh, triple entendre awfulness, man. Just but let's get off of that because I think it's in my head. I don't know if that's a reality for the world, but in my head, like that's something.
I think there's a part of you that probably genuinely creeped her out, but there might have been a part of you that also that she was attracted to. It's just neither one of them actually took the forefront. No, nothing.
She was the ratchet, had the mid drift with that old 5-kid belly hanging out.
Yeah.
She had the dreads that ain't been retwisted.
I haven't heard anything negative yet.
And she walking through rude as fuck, just hollering on this phone and like people ain't trying to say excuse me or none of that shit. Like,
smell like weed, no milk.
I don't know. Oddly enough, when it comes to women, I can't smell stanky women unless I'm attracted to them. But I can always smell like a great smelling woman. Like I can't smell unattractive women.
What? Like
I'm like it's like the predator, dog. Like the unattractive women rolled around in mud. My senses just can't pick them up. G.
I thought you was going
like,
somewhere scientific with that. I really was tuned in.
Well, but
it's not. I'm not doing this with you right
now. Without her being attractive, my animal instincts don't kick in, so I don't pick up her pheromones.
It's like they rolled around in the mud, like on a Schwarzenegger, when they hide in the mud, they can't pick them up.
Yeah, dude, like she standing right. Excuse me, sir.
Just walk right back.
Who the fuck is talking to, sir? Where the fuck is this bitch?
Well,
real talk, that like I don't know what it is, but I can't smell women I ain't attracted to. Sometimes I see them, but like if I ain't attracted to you, my nose stop working.
Else? Any more foolishness you care to indulge me in? Any more?
This my life. This my real life,
so
man.
The other day, so the other day, I was watching TV, right? And I came across this new show on Disney Plus, She-Hulk. Are you familiar with the character?
Oh, yeah, Jennifer Walters, cousin to Bruce Banner.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I like heard of her by name, but I've never I didn't know her real name. I don't know a lot about the character or anything like that, but I really don't I'm not as invested in comic book movies and shows to where if it's not accurate.
As you talk to me with a picture of Wakanda forever in the background and shit.
That's different.
Okay.
Them is us.
Okay.
Them is us. It's different. I don't know any of us. I don't know what She-Hulk is. Them is us. It's different. So, but I follow a lot of YouTubers. I follow them in the sense of I watch their shows and shit on YouTube, little different podcasts and updates and little shit they put out. And with a lot of I'll say right leaning, more conservative YouTubers, there was this fear with She-Hulk, and it's a fear that's also been voiced about the rest of all like Disney, not the movies, the fucking shows. It kind of started popping off around like maybe Captain Marvel, but there's this fear that
Okay.
this woman kind of feminine agenda is being pushed. There's a homosexual agenda being pushed. There's a racial equality agenda being pushed. And me personally, maybe I don't know. I don't really see it. To me, it's coming across like a lot of motherfuckers just kind of whining. But what I what it made me think about and what I want to ask you was with you and your observation on today's uh, popular media, shows and movies and shit. Are you seeing certain agendas or narratives being pushed, or do you think it's a lot more paranoia more than anything?
A combination
Okay,
of
I
the
know
two,
what you mean.
actually. And it's a pretty thin line to walk, right? As America has evolved over the last
Uh huh.
30 years, right? Like comic books initially were written just purely based on white
Mm-hmm.
perspectives, right? Even though Magneto and Professor X were an allegory to Martin Luther King
Mm-hmm.
and Malcolm X, what Stan Lee said. Uh, what happens with that being understood, you have to change some of the characters, right? You have to include some of the characters because truthfully, you know, anytime you see nothing but white folk on something, that's why I couldn't watch Friends. Like Friends seems so unrealistic to me, right? Like, damn, y'all in New York City and ain't not nan, nigga. Like, nigga, every time somebody would talk about Friends and try to watch Friends, all I heard was Trick Daddy. You don't know nan,
Shut the
nigga.
fuck up.
And I was like,
I'm
oh
trying to
yeah,
think as
they
you
don't know
talking. I
nan,
don't
nigga.
watch a few episodes of Friends, and I'm trying to think. There has to be at least one
Oh,
African American. I think there's a Spanish guy. There's several Italians. Are you calling Italians white?
but Italians
Okay,
are
so we're just
classified as
talking
white.
straight black. Wasn't Don Cheadle on the episode or some shit?
I did read that they had Alicia Tyler on there in the
I
latter
give him
part
that.
of
I
the
like her.
joint, but she's
Hey, hold on, man. I don't know where your audio went. I got you now.
so you
I
can't
got
hear
you
me.
now. You back?
No, I literally went
Oh,
quiet because I was perplexed that you said you like that bitch. Yeah, yeah, she on the Stacey Dash side of the game with me,
man.
but
I was this close to just.
that's a whole
What
nother.
are you? I don't know. You got to show me some proof after the show. I need to see some clips.
Gotcha,
Because I thought she was alright.
gotcha. But yeah, so and the inclusion of
Mm,
diversity and so forth, I'm
okay.
for some of it. As far as agenda, there is clearly a homosexual agenda being placed, right? If you think about all of the Marvel movies so far, and you think about all of the black characters, right? None of the black characters have had a love interest or even an intimate encounter.
Outside of
None.
Black Panther.
Who?
I'm saying outside of them.
What love interest Black Panther
Nakia.
had? No.
What the fuck was they doing?
You talking about
Okay,
Nicole,
yeah.
who was with Daniel
No,
Kaluuya
no.
character?
The spy. Remember?
He never
Shit,
kissed her.
they were
They
walking
never
hand
had
in
a
hand and
passionate
shit.
hug.
I don't know. I don't know how kings move, man.
And that shit was portrayed. So our first encounter of African King, the royal penis is clean to this nigga walking holding hands intimate that he's in a love
Well,
story.
it alludes to that, and also I think that
Not a loop. We talking about overt, direct, implicit. Well, not implicit, but explicit.
Well, outside that, you only had what you had. So what about the white? What about Spider Man? What about
Uh-huh.
uh Don Cheadle? It was kind of implied that Don Cheadle and okay.
Again, implied. Captain America got a kiss and got him cut up in the last one. Went back in time to get some cut up. This nigga bended time and space to get some cutting.
Uh,
Bucky and the Captain America the TV series.
who?
Bucky even had a boo. The daughter to old boy. It was either his therapist or the daughter of what you call it. Then he went out on a date and they went drinking them beers and shit.
I don't. I vaguely remember. I'll give you that. But I mean,
Yeah,
even then, it's not like so. I don't know. I agree. I disagree with you on the non-black love interest.
I'm trying to ask
Okay.
where. You got to give me something tangible besides just saying you disagree for the sake of disagreeing.
Mm-mm. Motherfucker, I disagree. I disagree.
You just being a
At this
contrarian.
point, yeah. Cause,
Oh,
I don't feel
but
like trying to
I'm
fucking
here to
argue
tell you
about it.
there was, but it's important. It's important to denote that I bring it up for a
Okay.
reason. There was one black character who had powers in Marvel who did have a love interest.
Blade? Okay.
No, Blade ain't even have a love
The,
interest.
the, the chick he saved. I mean, they didn't hook up, but they
Man, he
hooked
was
up.
infatuated, but he ain't even kissed her.
Okay. Who are we talking about?
We're talking about in the Eternals.
Like, as soon as I said who we talking about and landed the fucking T, I was like, thinking to myself, well, who else black it? Oh boy, from the Turtles.
And who was he? And who was he in
I
love
don't
with?
remember.
In love with a white man.
Did they
So
kiss? I don't remember if they kissed or not.
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. That's why I was banned in China.
well, I didn't know that. So,
Yeah, China said we ain't playing that shit.
so technically, if we keeping score, the only black in the MCU that ever kissed somebody was the one Eternal that kissed he was white, right or Mexican, kissed his husband. Mm. Mm.
So when you talk about an agenda, that's blatant, right?
I mean,
Like nobody can.
does that denote what's the word? Does that hint towards an agenda, or is that more so just someone's perverse fucking desire? Like it.
Well, we can't say it's accidental if like you mean to tell me none of the main characters are nobody got a boo, like even Sam Wilson, the new Captain America, or the Falcon. He wasn't attracted to nothing.
Mm,
Like for since Captain America and the Winter Soldier, like not even a girlfriend in 12 years.
mm.
Let's go back to the first Iron Man. Jim Rose, not a boo in 15 years.
I mean, he's busy. He's a military man. He ain't got time for family.
Yeah. So I mean, we have to say that it is
Okay.
crowbarred in there. If basically that black men are being portrayed as asexual
Mm,
in these movies, it's subtle, and I like the movies. I'm a
yeah.
big fan of it, but I think that it is forced. I think them muting down them nerfing the Hulk, and now I guess I would assume now they're probably gonna have him and She-Hulk on the same level, and then have She-Hulk basically be as strong as Hulk's
Mm,
supposed to be.
mm. Excuse me. Um, I'm not. from what I've seen in the show, and then from what I've seen with people who were more versed on the comic book, they said that the dynamic was pretty accurately portrayed. It's one of those things where I
Oh,
would probably I'd probably have you watch it for yourself, and that way you can tell me after that. You know what I'm saying? If it's like, well, nah, they nerfed the shit out of Hulk. I mean, some people say they nerfed Hulk with Smart Hulk. Me
they
personally,
did.
I don't know. My partner say they nerfed Hulk back when Thanos tightened his ass up on that ship. You
That's a
know what I'm
fact.
saying?
It was in the comics. It was one person Thanos was afraid of.
It was Hulk.
Yep.
I did not know that. Well, Pro might have mentioned it. He's a Hulk
Yeah.
fan. Yeah.
Shout out to
He
Pro.
that Hulk fan. He did not like that. What was that? That was Infinity War, right? Or Endgame? Whichever one it was.
Correct.
He
That
did
was
not like that shit at all. Quit watching shit.
me neither. I'm like, man, what? Like what? Like Hulk is supposed to have like unlimited strength, right? Like one of the things about Hulk, the madder Hulk gets, the
Mm-hmm.
stronger Hulk gets. And then you take that, and then you want to take that
Mm.
away from him to where now he's not. You know what I mean? Like Hulk getting beat up. Then we go to where he got into the plays when they get back to Earth, and Hulk can't transform to the Hulk no more. Like
He was having performance
it
performance
yeah,
anxiety.
correct. But like in Thor, what was that? What was that Thor
Ragnarok.
movie? Yeah, and Ragnarok, that was Hulk. That was an accurate
Okay.
portrayal of Hulk. You know, him and Thor, he gonna bust Thor ass
Yeah.
up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like, so now, if basically, so Thanos is basically the strongest person ever in the universe.
Mm.
Or actually, let me put it back. Captain Marvel is now the strongest person in the universe, right? I'm like,
Yeah.
that's trash. Yeah, Captain Marvel was an afterthought in the
Okay. What
comics.
you mean?
Yeah. Man, nobody took that bitch serious, man. She was like, I'm here to say today, I ain't here to sue. Like, no, man. Like, she got jumped by Rogue, and Rogue took her powers. Like,
Mm.
they souped her up and nerfed Hope. So it's like moving forward. Where do you
Mm-hmm.
go from here, right? Yeah. But as far as the agenda goes, that's the agenda. You know what I mean? Like, yes, do they need to include other people, races, women, and stuff like that? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I believe so. But like the way in which they're doing it, you're painting yourself in a corner.
Mm. It's like forced.
Well, it's once you weaken somebody and you make somebody else super strong, when it comes to the storytelling in the future, so what? Now you got to nerf Captain Marvel.
Mm. Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
I see
now
what you're
the
saying.
hierarchy and the power dynamic it's been explained. So now, in order to tell these stories, you eventually you're gonna have to change the
Yeah.
power dynamic. Otherwise, it's like, okay, we got a problem. Call Captain Marvel.
Is this a MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe problem, or is this a Marvel problem? Like, was Captain Marvel this strong in the comics, and then the Cinematic Universe just portrayed that, or was Cinematic Universe like, you know what? Let's give her laser beams or some shit like that, and shit just flew off the rails.
Well, she was portrayed accurately, but like their story, she was always like a third string character. Like she never was top notch as far as what when stuff go down. Like when the big bad come, she get wiped
Okay.
out real quick. And like typically the last person standing will be Hulk, Captain America, and so
Uh,
forth like that. Like Hulk is supposed to be like the last line of
okay.
defense, right? And how but they would circumvent Hulk, his superiority of being super strong by him being outwitted, and that's how you would develop a Hulk story. or you would have a combination of villains come and get Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like you got the Planet Hulk theory. The well, not theory. The Planet Hulk was basically Hulk took over a
Yeah.
planet. You know what I'm saying? And then they killed Hulk's wife and his newborn, his soon to be son, and it turned into World War Hulk, where Hulk came to Earth. Hulk was so pissed off, he had stomped the ground and sent the earthquake up the whole eastern seaboard.
Huh. Okay.
Fascinating shit. Fascinating shit. Well, what you think though about the
I
agenda?
don't know, man. Like I said, I don't have a lot invested in the agenda. I don't know. I kind of feel like it wasn't against me or targeting me, so I kind of chopped it up to paranoia for the most part. If there is this gay agenda, I don't think that watching Marvel movies would be what turn kids gay. I think
Mm, No, no, no. It's not to turn kids
maybe that's
gay.
my disconnect.
It's
Maybe I'm missing the overall goal of it. You know what I'm saying?
it's an inclusion of things, right? Like the difference, and this is where I draw the
Okay.
line at, right? You can't hide being
Yeah.
black, right? But you can hide being gay. We don't know you gay until you say
Right.
you gay,
Or catch
right?
you doing some gay
The
shit.
reason why it becomes, yeah, the reason why it becomes
Uh,
crowbarred in there is, who gives a fuck? You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Who cares? If Quicksilver is gay, okay, good for
Hmm.
Quicksilver. It's just like in the real world. You know what I'm saying? Like they throw this blanket that we're homophobic. No, we're not homophobic. We just really don't want to hear about that shit.
Mm.
I bring it to P Valley. Like for some reason, black women love P Valley. It's the hottest thing in Black America
Hmm.
since power. But like, as far as black men, like, man, you don't want to see men kissing and doing all that other stuff.
Mm.
Like it's tough. Like I said, it's a thin line between saying, that hey, I don't care to see that, and truth be told, I don't really. A lot of times, the love story in movies kind of bog the
Hmm.
movie down and slow it down because it's like, come on, man, like get back. I came to see people flying and throwing buildings at each other, man. I don't want to see this nigga getting his heart broke. Like that's crazy.
I think
It's
it's a
crazy.
personal preference, man. I don't like. Um, you said you don't want to see two niggas kissing. I don't really go to a movie to watch two two men kissing and making out and shit. But if it happens, I'm not
Yeah,
repulsed by it. It's just like if I ever find myself in a situation where I was repulsed by it, it'd probably be warranted. Like I've never been in a situation where I go watch any type of movie that I watch, fucking Space Jam or Back to the Future or whatever the fuck it is, and then every time I turn around, it's a dude kissing another dude. One time, a couple times, I won't even put a number on it, but it'll be a certain point where I feel it's egregious, and I'll be like, hey man, it's a lot of dude kissing going on. I have to question why. Now that hasn't happened, so I can't
yeah,
really say, all right, I have to question why because it hasn't happened yet. You know what I'm saying? Um, as
correct.
far as like the love story aspect that you spoke about, I get that. I get what you're saying. Me personally, it helps humanize some of these characters that I know are clearly made up. You know, when we were younger and we watched some of our action heroes, they felt like pure unadulterated action heroes. That's why it was so refreshing when you had those off cuff comedies where you would take these action heroes and then take them out of that action hero element and put them into a real world element. Like you watch something like a Predator or Rambo or a fucking Action Jack. Well, not Action Jackson at all, but like it's not like you watch Action Jackson falling in love. Action Jackson.
Yeah, you
It's
about
not like you watch Action Jackson
to,
fall in love. You watch Action Jackson do Action Jackson shit. He was a ladies' man. He was smooth. But compare that to something like Major Pain, where you had like it's clearly comedy because you know Damon Wayans, yada yada yada. But in that film, you took this war hero, this action. In any other movie, he would be an action hero, and you took him out of that action element and put him into another element, and that brought forth a different type of movie. So I say that to say that I don't necessarily get turned off by a movie that has other aspects in it besides what I came to see. Whether it's go ahead.
Well, let me touch
Okay.
on that for a sec, right? The reason may be, and I don't want to disparage you or to become
Okay.
offensive, right? But if you're aware of certain literary devices, right, they have this thing called
Mm-hmm.
archetypes, right? And there throughout our entire life we have archetypes, right? And basically, let's stay on the Major Pain example, which was Top Gun Part Two, by the way. Don't let nobody tell
Okay.
you different. Uh,
It was talking report two
but
before
the
Maverick.
Major Pain
Is that
are
what you saying?
no, no, yes, yes, yes. That was it's the same exact premise to Top
Oh
Gun
my
Part to
God.
Maverick.
So you
Oh,
saying
same exact
why you
premise.
stealing? Oh God. Mm. Oh.
All right. So with Major Pain, you take a super strong soldier who's supposed to be, anti-emotional, right? A hardened guy, right? That's an
I'm listening to
archetype,
you. I'm
right?
still blown away. Yeah, I think you're actually correct. I apologize. You're I'm, I'm
Oh, you
I
saw
don't
me? You
know.
saw
I've
Maverick?
seen enough of it to know what the fuck it's about, and I put it two together like, hmm. I see it here, and I see it here, and I see it here, and I see it here.
Even down to the woman. Don't leave, Pain. I gotta
Shut,
go do
shut the
this
fuck
one
up,
last thing, baby. Same it, Maverick. Are you gonna leave us
motherfucker,
again like
this
last time?
motherfucker.
I'm coming back this time, baby. It, it's the same
Okay,
exact shit. Same exact thing. Maverick
not bad.
Major Pain the same exact thing. But you have a
Yeah.
archetype, i.e., Major Pain, and then when you introduce the love interest to soften them up, at that point the movie
Mm-hmm.
becomes predictable, right? And that's kind of where sometimes the love story is crowbarred in there, right? It's a cop out for the writer to use
Mm-hmm.
that as a plot device.
Love.
You understand what I'm
Okay.
saying? Yeah, and it kind of it takes away from the story. Like if you take out that love story, how does Pain become softened to do what he got to do to stay there and help the kid?
I don't know. I'm sure. You could. You, yeah.
Exactly, it
You.
requires
It could
some
be
thought
done,
to
but
it.
yeah, it does
That's my
require
point.
thought. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
Not just
like
the
the
easiest
easiest thing
road.
to do is okay. Well, if he has affection and he's emotionally invested into her, then
We
we can
use
just tie together those
if we
loose
soften
ends.
him to her, we can use her to deliver any other type of uh, what's not feminine, sensual. Uh, We 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 deliver everything else through her to soften him because he'll do anything for her at this point.
Correct, and it
So
becomes
he could
a
help
plot device.
some little goof troop ass kids win a dance contest. He could have helped Girl Scouts sell cookies. He could have helped Boy Scouts build fires. He could have helped hot down white men catch bass fish. At this point, he would have did anything as long as it was for her.
Let's take somebody like John Wick, right?
Mm-hmm.
John Wick. They killed his wife died early in the movie.
Yeah.
He has nothing. So now, as opposed to using a love story as his device, the only thing that kept him grounded was the dog, and you killed the dog.
Yeah.
So now that becomes it changes the dynamic of a plot device, and now you create a character.
Mm.
You understand what I'm saying? John Wick. They could have easily said in the middle of John Wick met a chick and had to go save the chick, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? On some Mission Impossible 4 type stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
He gotta go save the chick before she die, or they captured his wife, so now he gotta go do it. No, John Wick, the Boba Yaga is coming for you
Mm.
because you killed this dog.
But
Like it takes a minor trespass and it turns it into a
but
big
these are two
thing.
different type of movies, though, aren't they?
Yeah. They become two different type of movies once you remove that
Mm.
element. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Major Payne could have took the route of the professional if you remove that love interest.
Hmm.
Or it could have turned into Red Dawn to where now he got these kids and now they being invaded and now he got to train the kids to take out the
Yeah.
enemy. There's a lot of ways you can go with stuff like that. Well, I see you nursing that cup for the long.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm gonna go ahead and that's a
mm,
little bit.
yeah, yeah, ain't nothing but some more. But yeah, man, like I say, it's out there. I think we should all be aware of it. Again, there's nothing wrong with
Mm-hmm.
inclusion. But just when it seems forced, it's just when it go off the rails. You know what I
I,
mean? Like, I don't think they put enough. They don't. I think they do a disservice to those people who are investing in seeing a story and wanting to see a LBGTQ love story. I think they do them a disservice to where they simplify it to where this character to just saying, "Here you go, we got a gay character for
mm,
you." There's no development, there's no progression to that. There's nothing to it. Just besides saying that here go your token gay character. It's just like black people was in '80s
yeah.
movies, right? Yeah, here go your token black. You know what I mean? Here go your token gay. And it's like, well, damn, is that even integral to the story that that character is gay?
Mm,
That's a cop out for the writer. It make just the writer taking the easy way
yeah.
out.
So if it's not if it doesn't really matter if the character's gay in the story, right? If it doesn't really matter, it doesn't add anything. It becomes a question of, well, why is it in there? But if the character is gay, if it does matter, it becomes a question as why is that the focal point? Is there an example that you can think of where you have a character who's homosexual, but it was done tastefully? It's done to where you don't feel like it's being forced on you or thrown in your face, or you don't feel like it's being done just to pander to a group poorly.
Omar from the
Okay.
Wire, baby. Omar from the Wire was a homosexual, a boy kissing
Uh-huh.
homosexual. Not only was he into boys, he liked
Yeah,
younger
yeah.
boys,
And it
right?
will shoot your face
But
off.
it correct, but it takes it from a plot device to a character development. Now you can introduce women in their natural element, i.e., Omar's crew, the girls and stuff like that. You can introduce women without being weighed down by them being in love with the character on some sexual stuff. Now you can just display women as just being strong women without the need to be behind the
Huh.
man. You understand what I'm saying? You can the part to where Omar being homosexual, I guess it was so relevant was because now, you know what I mean, everybody talking about it, but yeah, okay, he gay. I'm not fucking with that guy. I'm not here go the bag, here go the dope, here go the drugs. Omar coming. Like, dude, like you
Yeah.
know what it is. You know what I'm saying? It heightens it. It removes the element that he can be taken. You
Mm.
know what I'm saying? Yeah, it does, and him being gay, it doesn't soften the character. Omar being gay, it doesn't feel
Mm.
forced. Even though he had kissing scenes and stuff like that, like it seemed like it was part of the story.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, real
Did
talk.
you ever see Moonlight.
I
What you
did.
think about that? I've never seen it, but I've heard enough about it.
Moonlight had great
Yeah.
acting in it, but if you were basically about a gay dude growing up in the hood,
Okay. Okay.
and I guess that to be appealing to people to think that just because a person's hard and on the exterior don't mean that they can't be gay
Mm,
or a tough guy can't be gay.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
But that shouldn't.
Yeah.
If that's the focal point of your shit lacks substance. If you, I
But
guess
if you remove that element, is that character still a good character?
that's how it should be done. I was gonna say if you want to take that road, you need a character that you can study is Omar from The Wire. But to simplify it, like you
Correct.
said, if you remove that aspect from that character, is it still a good character?
Yeah. But Omar being gay added depth to the character. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? Him being gay gave you a whole different side and aspect of him, right? To where Omar, it does, to where he can be emotional. He can display a wide range of emotions, like when they came and shot his grandma
Mm.
hat. And he was like, man, they shot a crown. Everybody know you don't do that on church
Mm.
Sunday. I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill them all.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like it kind of reinforces his emotional
Yeah.
range, Jack. Yeah, and it's it's not an integral part of the story, but does it help to make the character more relatable or give the character a different dynamic?
Okay.
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
Well, shit, man. I'm gonna go and call for a break, man. Maybe something to drink.
No, all right. I'm with it. What it say? We're gonna
Oh
take
yeah,
three.
that'll
Come back
work.
with it. All right. Let me know when
Mm-hmm.
we out.
This is INMF.
I loved you. What happens? I decide, not you. Now, you don't love me anymore. Well, that breaks my heart. But it's still fucking bad because you don't gotta love me. But you will respect me.
This is INMF.
duel. Now, you don't love me anymore, well, that breaks my heart, but it's still fucking bad, because you don't gotta love me. But you will respect me.
This is INMF.
I loved you. What happens, I decide, not you. Now, you don't love me anymore, well, that breaks my heart, but it's still fucking bad, because you don't gotta love me. But you will respect me.
This is INMF.
I loved you. What happens, I decide, not you. Now, you don't love me anymore, well, that breaks my heart, but it's still fucking bad, because you don't gotta love me. But you will respect me.
This is INMF.
decide, not you. Now, you don't love me anymore, well, that breaks my heart, but it's still fucking bad, because you don't gotta love me. But you will respect me.
This is INMF.
All right, man. We back up in there, man.
For sure, for sure. I had to let y'all marinate on the fine sounds of Peebo Drip and the Horny Horn Dogs. What their latest single is Crinkle Fries and Corn Dogs for the Road, please.
This is lovely. It's lovely. It's
Yeah,
amazing. Other day I was listening to them boys and track number, I think it was number 7. It's something to the effect of just let me put my finger in it.
oh, was that off the album You Can't Be Your Daddy's
I
Child?
believe so. I believe that's the one. It's a love song. It's really
Yeah.
nice. I can see that playing at somebody's wedding.
Yeah, beautiful, man. That
You know.
was beautiful. Let's take a quick moment of silence for Peebo Drip.
What we said is out of respect because he said like he dead.
Oh, no, I was just saying, just show
Okay.
some love. Hey, listen, man, I'm off today, man. I'm having this. I'm here with them gone, man.
You done stayed up till hot down 10 in the morning eating hot down Kroger's pizza.
No, I was not up until 10. I was up until 10 studying. But I did want to ask you, what made you come up with that scenario, though? And,
What scenario, brother?
as far as with the agenda part.
So, one of the things that I like to do, one of the ways that I feel I make myself better every day than the day before is strive for understanding. One of the things that COVID taught me, out of all things it taught me, one of the things that COVID and the pandemic taught me is that I'm not nearly as mature as I thought I was. In the sense that there was a lot of people saying ignorant shit, and I was starting to react to it, but I had to end up taking a step back and realize that I felt what they were saying was ignorant, but they actually might have believed it. And instead of me trying to condemn them for how they felt, maybe I should try to understand how they feel and try to come to some rational common ground. We can disagree, that's fine, but let's be rational about it. So that pushed me towards this whole new source of information. Me being more left-leaning, liberal, and I kind of took a deep dive into a whole bunch of right-winged, conservative YouTubers. Not like a whole bunch of old white dudes, but there's
You went through the comment
I
section.
went through several actually. Like this. Well, it gets seedy. You got some like you got like some of the ones that you might know. Candace Owens. There's also there's an ex-officer by the name of Brandon Tatum. He goes by B Tatum. He's actually from I think he's from South Dallas. He might be from Fort Worth, part of Dallas. Geeks and Gamers, they all lean heavily right on the political spectrum. There's another gentleman from Fort Worth by the name of Eric July. He's more of a, he calls himself a libertarian, but it's more of an anarchist. My thing with anarchists is, I've always looked at them as fucking psychos. Like they want freedom for all with.
As you should.
They just want freedom for all with no. They want freedom for all, but they don't account for the people that can't handle that freedom responsibly. They just want chaos. And like, these niggas are fucking psycho. Anywho, so in that, what's up? Right. But in that, you get a lot of information, and one of the information is sometimes you'll hear shit like, one dude said he didn't like the last Batman because there was only no.
Trash?
He said there was only 2 good white people in Batman, Alfred and Batman. But it gives you an insight to, let's say he was just bullshitting. Let's say he himself got off the camera. It was like, these motherfuckers better not buy this shit. You also have to be mindful that it's somebody watching that shit that's buying into that shit 100%. And that's kind of scary. But if you're not familiar with any of this going on, you won't know about any of this information being conveyed.
Going deep.
I mean, I didn't mean to. You asked me a question, I'm giving you an answer.
One second.
All right.
Give me one. I gotta step
Okay.
up.
All right.
Keep going.
So, oh Lord. So, with that being said, one of the things that I like to do is listen to these individuals. And every time something dropped since Gina Carano got fired from Disney, Disney's been what they call woke. And on one hand, woke seems like this push for some type of agenda. Sometimes woke seems anything black or too black. You know what I'm saying? It's you have some people that like anything that they don't like, they put that shit in the category as woke. Like, oh, they got a black woman president. Shit's woke. Not fucking watching that bullshit. That shit's fucking woke. I ain't watching that bullshit. You're not getting my money. It's enlightening to see how they ride. I think it was Sun Tzu who said, "Know thy enemy."
Mm-hmm.
If I'm gonna make these ladies and gentlemen, this sector, this whole audience out to be my enemy, I should at the very least know and understand how they think.
And you getting all this from the comment section on Facebook.
Basically, I go off in there and I say outlandish shit. Hey, be careful. Niggas gonna take over the world. Oh, don't get mad because somebody black fucking your daughter. The regular bullshit. You know what I'm saying? You know. But there's some that I think are grifting. See, the thing about white people is they'll pay you to make them feel good. And a lot of people understand this, not just white, but blacks. They understand that white people will pay you to make them feel good. And it's people that lean into that shit. It's some people that actually believe that bullshit. They believe that there's a race war coming. They believe that whites are about to be replaced. They believe that the only 2 good white people in Batman was Batman and Alfred. They wholeheartedly believe that shit.
So somebody actually said that?
Yeah, it's a whole nigga. I can tell you now. I can tell you later. It's a whole motherfucker that said it was mad. This old beady eye cracker was in the car, hot.
Wow. I don't recall seeing a dark skinned person in Batman.
The mayor. We talked about the last Batman with Twilight.
But the red look.
So.
I don't recall
The mayor, the original mayor got killed, and the mayor that was running, she was black. Chief Gordon, black.
Chief Gordon was white skinned though.
He black. Now let's stop for a second. let's stop for a second. You and I know who he is, and we respect him. Let's respect him because he's a hell of an actor.
Yeah, I think his name is Jeffrey.
Right.
Damn. Yeah,
Hell of
Jeffrey
an
Wright.
actor, right? When I seen
Great
him playing
actor.
people's,
Great.
I didn't even realize he wasn't Hispanic. Didn't realize that.
Yeah.
No, he El Negro.
Yeah. And you know, I can make that go
Listen,
away.
man, this is brilliant. He also played Martin Luther. The same man that played Peoples also played Martin Luther King.
Correct.
That's talent. You understand what I'm saying?
Great. Great.
He's the watcher on What If?
What If?
You know.
Great talent.
And he's also Chief Gordon, one of the other good black people.
Not to go too deep, but the same can be said from for your boy who played Bugging Out and Do the Right Thing. He also played he played in The Mandalorian. He was in Breaking Bad.
Yeah. Esposito. Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah. Yeah, Giancarlo Esposito. Yeah, he's a great actor too. In the same vein as
You're
Jeffrey
absolutely
Wright.
right. I agree.
As far as range,
I 100% agree.
You know what I mean?
They tapping him to play Professor X. White people over there, the people I'm talking about, losing their fucking shit.
I saw that. I saw that. Well, you know, you can't. You can't explain where he got his money from because Professor X was in the 40s and the 50s. So, you know, there weren't rich black men.
There's problems. I didn't think about that till you said it. Yeah, that's one big problem.
Yeah. But if Professor X was mixed, you know, it was actually his mother that had the money in the comics. Correct. He had a stepdaddy who was Cain Marco. Well, Cain Marco Sr., I believe, or some Marco. But Cain Marco is his stepbrother. Cain Marco is the Juggernaut.
I didn't know that. No, you fucking me up.
Correct. Man, that gold. You ain't watched the X-Men cartoon.
I just don't recall that. Like, it's not like when I was watching the cartoon, I was deciphering this shit, dog. I literally was watching it. I was watching it for two reasons: to hear Rogue talk and to watch Wolverine do Wolverine.
Rogue, the Storm voice was trash.
I said Rogue.
You said Rogue. Yeah.
Yes,
nigga.
Storm was trash. Hey, Storm. No respect. Storm was trash. I said Rogue.
Rogue kind of thick with it too, with them tight bones. Little sex ass.
Hey.
With that long red hair, that long red nappy ass hair.
Listen, you know a nigga wanted to be Gambit, right? What?
No.
Nigga. I'll bullshit to the side. That nigga ain't smooth. That's smooth ass nigga, man.
Gambit was suave, but.
Alright.
No. I couldn't.
Remember Bo, baby. I got him over there on the thing, man, on my truck. I gotta show you my shit, man. But.
Oh, you got a setup on all your face.
Yeah, you over there, man. I gotta show you my setup, man. Anywho, the whole spiel with this is there's a whole demographic that felt unheard by modern media, and these niggas is lashing the fuck out. And I'm listening to them, and they coming out with some wild shit. Some of them is motherfuckers just trying to make this quick buck. Some of these motherfuckers actually wholeheartedly believe this shit.
Well, here's the thing, though, and they kind of, I get it. Like, if you grew up, like you just said, you identify with Remy LeBeau. Imagine if you was a white dude with red hair and black eyes. Yeah. Could you not identify? You'd be like, you know, you'll look at Remy like that's you. So if they were to make Gambit black, you know, like, you have a right to be upset, but at the same time, you got to have enough empathy and compassion to be like, there were no black
And
superheroes.
that's a good dog. If you want to go down this discussion, we can because this is a really good discussion we're having. Then let's rock. All right, so
Let's
peep
rock.
game.
Let's rock.
The last gentleman that I mentioned, a gentleman by the name of Eric July, recently came out with a comic. He started his own comic universe, the Ripperverse, and he's always preached. He's talked about comics before. He's the anarchist I was telling you about, the libertarian. But his stance on comics is if you just create original characters, these characters can survive. He's against like where they take a character and then they make this character like a different race or like to me, what's the young Spider-Man's name? Miles Morales. To me, Miles Morales was one of the dopest shit I've seen.
Great game.
Yeah,
Great game.
dope. A little DLC-ish, but it's still dope. I still fuck with it. Miles Morales, one of the dopest iterations of Spider-Man, one of the characters that I've seen. He calls him Peter Darker. He says that Miles Morales was a
affirmative action hire.
Yeah. Yeah, check that young box. You know what I'm saying? Now, to prove what he's saying, where if you just come out with original characters, you can thrive. He launched his own comic book line. His first campaign, he was projected. He's
now,
black.
Is this guy white or black?
Yeah, you got people when we get done. Man, I'm gonna take you the information. Let's check shit out. But he was hoping to make 100,000. He said he invested 200,000 in his company, hoping to make back 50% of that, 100,000. As of today, he's at 3.4 million in a month. A nice little lick. My argument to that is most of the people that bought his shit aren't comic enthusiasts. They aren't comic book readers. They follow to
representation matters, people.
Yeah. They're the people that bought his shit are the ones that feel like today's media speaks out against them. They feel like Marvel speaks out against them. DC doesn't want their money. Yada yada yada. And this is that pushback. It'd be kind of like if you made something, but if I came to you and bought whatever you were selling just because you're black, regardless of how good your product is, that's what they're doing. But they're doing it because they share the same political stance, political ideologies. It's a lick, but I don't think it's sustainable. I think he hit a really good lick, and I'm not trying to take anything away from it. But I think campaign 2 is gonna make a lot less bread because white people ain't gonna give a fuck about that shit again. They give a fuck about it the first time, not twice.
Well, now if you could find a way to where again, if black people supported it, he'll be straight. You know what I'm saying? But the problem is one is he creating good content.
If this comic's good, you made $3.4 million off of motherfuckers just not liking the shit that you're going against, right? So just off the strength, if your shit's good, he might be able to do it again. But if your shit, it's already one selling point because I bought a book. I bought a book out of natural interest. This is how much I'm interested in my enemy, right? This shit cost me $50 a pop. Bought one book. And it was marketed as a comic book / graphic novel. I'm thinking graphic novel easily. I'm not sure how many pages, but
Sandman, Watchmen.
This was a lot. So far, we haven't seen any of it except for like we seen him hold it and all that. But I was able to get a glimpse of how thick it was, and for the size.
So you're on a pre-order.
This is like a pre-order campaign. Yes.
So you haven't actually read the
no, I haven't.
material.
No one has.
Okay.
Well, no one outside the company, rather.
Now,
No, no, and that was it,
go
bro.
ahead, go
What you
ahead,
got?
go
What you
ahead.
got?
My apologies. Now they did this several years ago. It's actually a documentary on HBO Max about Milestone Comics. Milestone Comics was outside of
Mm-hmm.
the DC universe, and they had this thing basically called the
Okay.
Big Boom theory, right? Like basically it was a toxic explosion, and I want to say it was North Dakota, South Dakota, and it
Out
gave
of fucking
everybody
North Dakota,
powers.
South Dakota.
Correct. So you had black people with powers, but it's called Milestone Comics. It's
Okay.
a black comic imprint, and that's where Static
I didn't know
Shock
that.
comes from. Icon and
Huh.
Rocket. From that, yeah, yeah. They DC
Okay.
Comics subsidized them and introduced them into the
Okay.
DC universe. And they got a comic where Icon, which is the Milestone Universe version of Superman, he fights Superman. You got Static Shock, who had the cartoon and was popular and
Uh huh.
stuff like that. He did that. So what Buddy is propositioning is cool, but we
Okay.
are it's been done before, and unfortunately, you it's a hard sell to introduce new comic books. We even saw it with it wasn't just black people that tried to do it. We saw it with Image Comics who introduced Spawn, the Wildcats, uh, several different characters. Spawn, Wildcats, Grifter actually integrated. He was in the Superman, the
Mm-hmm.
Flashpoint Paradox movie. So there were different comic spin-offs between the main two. The problem lies is one, once the comic becomes the writing becomes trash, so you lose all momentum, on that. Once the writing becomes trash, and two, you don't have a history. I believe Batman came out in 19 either 28 or
Mm.
38, I want to say, but
Mm-hmm.
between that era, right? Superman was bait came over in 1928 or 1919, but it was
Yeah,
Action
the
Comic
Action
Superman
Comics.
by Joe
Okay.
Shuster and Joe Gergens, right? Superman was basically a Jewish man initially, right? That was a story of a Jewish man. Hence why Superman has the black hair and Jewish features and stuff. He was
Is
written,
that is
Jewish
that
people
is
created
that is
Superman.
that why the curl? Does that have anything to do with it or no? Was the curl?
Correct. Yeah, yeah, he's made
Huh.
in the image of a Jewish man. Like there's no debate, there's no aspersion, no racial hate or anything
Yeah.
like that. But that's just what it was. You don't, and we're in the year 2022, so we're talking about 90 years worth of Superman
Mm.
being in the main public. So if you introduce a new character, Image Comics came out in 94, 93 when they introduced Spawn. He had a movie by 96. If they would have kept up with the movies, they possibly could have made an imprint on that. But you have to create interesting characters
Mm.
to pierce the veil. That's a tall
Okay.
ask. You know what I'm saying? Like even Blade. Blade was a
Yeah.
fourth tier hero
Yeah.
in the comic books. You know what I'm saying? Blade wasn't a major character. But those movies, Blade was the most popular character for from 98 to 2005. Blade was the most popular
How did
comic
that
book
come
character in
about?
the
How did
world.
they end up picking Blade as the movie to go to? Was it just like some niggas like we want to make some of this Marvel money?
Well,
What character can we use? And they was like, here, you can take this nigga. We
no.
don't give a fuck about this nigga. And they hit a lick or like what?
It came, basically
Yeah.
nobody was buying comic books. People stopped buying comic books after the death of Superman, Batman getting his back broken,
Oh dang.
um, the Wolverine getting his motherfucking adamantium pushed out. It's like the
Superhero getting
comic
broke down left and right.
dude, like but
Yeah.
DC had Superman. Like Superman and Batman are the first comic book heroes. So if you look into it, there's
Yeah.
always been Superman movies. There's always been Batman movies. And you can go back to the 40s and 50s and see Superman and Batman movies and TV shows.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? With Marvel, they didn't do that. So basically, in the 90s, when you had this point to where they start trying to humanize superheroes and kill off everybody and revamp the history and stuff like that, people was like, man, I don't want to read this shit. I don't want to read a Wolverine comic where he's ripping out bones
Right.
out his hands and shit like that. I want adamantium. I want
Right.
Wolverine ripping his
Right.
guts out. You know? Yeah, and that's how the other comic books like Spawn, who
Uh-huh.
was a little bit more graphic, they were able to catch on
Yeah.
because they was fucking
Okay.
people up, and Wolverine knew what was fucking people up. So long end of the short of it is, at that point, when the comics start selling, Marvel was on the verge of going bankrupt. So what they did is they start to ration out and sell off characters or lease out characters, right? I'll give you this character, but you got to do something with them every 5 years. If you don't do something with the character for 5 years,
Now, that's
we
something I'm
take the
familiar with.
character
Hence why
back.
you keep having these throwaway ass uh, Fantastic Four movies.
Well, those weren't Marvel movies. That dude, the Avengers in the comic books, the Avengers were not a top
Yeah.
seller as far as comic books, but that was the only property that Marvel owned.
Mm.
You understand what I'm saying? Fox had gave them money and
Yeah.
they bought the X-Men property. So everything associated with the X-Men went to Fox. United Films and Pictures, they took Blade and some of the subsequent heroes. The Midnight Suns, Blade, Ghost
Okay.
Rider, and stuff like that, right? Paramount paid for the Hulk. That's why we haven't seen the Hulk movie that was made by
Huh.
Marvel yet. That's why you see Hulk in he was in the Ragnarok, and it was
Yeah.
Ragnarok was basically a Hulk movie. So, and Spider Man went to Sony, so the whole Spider Verse is in Sony. That's why you see if you go back, Sony has always made a Spider Man since
Huh.
they acquired the license, and they tried to do this whole Spider Verse, but unfortunately the Spider Verse sucks. So what that Morbius was trash.
Yeah.
Venom was alright. So like they really
I
can't
really
create a
hate they
universe
fucked
for
that
these
up because I
characters.
really did like how they flipped the Vulture.
Yeah. Well, no, Vulture was done by
All right, now I'm
Marvel.
confused all over again.
Mm.
Because
Before Sony lost the rights
yeah.
to Spider-Man, remember you had the last Andrew Garfield movie, which was trash with Jamie Foxx and
It was
shit
all
like
right.
that, right? And then 3 years later, you had Tom Holland pop up as
Yeah.
Spider-Man in Civil War, right? Okay, so in that Civil War, Sony basically was like, all right, we can't get this Spider-Man shit right. We'll loan you Spider-Man for a piece of the
Okay.
cut, for a cut of the paper. We gonna need about 60% of that pie, bro.
Yeah.
Well, they own the
Yeah.
character, so they cut him off with 60%, and it went to where it went. You know what I'm saying? And that's why Spider-Man it is what it is. When you see Spider-Man in the Marvel universe with
Mm-hmm.
Tom Holland, it's a dope. When Sony try to do their own thing with Venom and Morbius, it's like, man, what the fuck is this? This is
That's what's
trash.
going on with this shit. That's why. That's why it's all fucked up. Okay. Okay, makes sense now.
Mm-hmm. Because when Marvel was going up, when they was going under, they had to
So,
license out the
so
characters
basically, Marvel
to
know
make
what the
some
fuck they
money.
doing. Sony still not so much. Okay. All right.
Correct. And that's why you see what you see now. Now, back to why that's relevant and why I say and how we ended up there. When it comes to Buddy creating a black universe of black characters, like where do these black characters fit?
Well, it's not entirely black character. The
Like
main character is a
basically,
black character.
Yeah, but he's basically creating Meteor Man. Like,
Meteor Man
okay,
was
it's
dope.
cool,
I like Meteor
for
Man.
representation. It was.
My,
I like
my nigga
Meteor
was scared
Man
to
too.
fly.
It was a great
He
comic.
flew close to the ground.
Correct.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. That's
Correct.
some shit.
But
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was a dope
yeah,
concept though, right? Yeah, but that's basically what he's doing. Like, dude, you can't just say, okay, these people got 100 years of history and of stories.
yeah,
Everybody knows about Superman. But I'm gonna introduce Meteor Man, and Meteor Man gonna
yeah.
be on the level of Superman.
Like that, you
Nah,
put it in perfect context when you
nah.
said it took 100 years for Superman to where we at least 70, at least 70 years, 60, 70 years. So maybe from 60 years from now he has some dope shit.
Well, I mean, here's the thing: you can pierce the veil, and what I mean by piercing the veil is you can create dope
Hmm.
characters and dope content. But if the writing is trash, if the writing ain't there, you ain't got nothing. Don't nobody want to see
Yeah,
that shit if the writing trash. You know, if the characters is trash and people be like, man, I have no idea what the hell
yeah.
going on here. You know, if the writing's
Uh huh.
trash, it's over. You know, would you want to pay your money for some trash ass writing? Well, I mean, I apologize,
I
Lamar.
might,
You may
I
have.
might. Like I ain't thinking some of the movies be fine.
Yeah, yeah, you know, but it's a tall ask. But if you can create, if you can catch on with good writing and good
Yeah.
character development, yeah, you can jump in. But you got, I don't think going the comic route should be first. If you can raise that money, he should have just made a
The
movie
movie a
about the
lot more
shit.
work.
It's a lot more work, but it reaches a
Mm-hmm.
broader audience. Kids don't read
Mm.
these days.
Yeah.
You know, better yet, let me not even say kids. People don't
Mm-hmm.
read these days for the most part. You know, we get our information and sample boxes and OPs from Facebook
Mm-hmm.
and Instagram. You know what I mean? So, like, you know, to expect somebody to sit down and read a comic book in today's age, they have to really be invested in the comic. Only way to get somebody invested in the comic is
Yeah.
giving them something they can watch. You know, that would be the fastest way to build a demographic to it. Like when
Mm-hmm.
Spawn movie came out, then came cartoon and all that stuff like that. There, like Spawn was more of a pop culture thing than he
Hmm.
was a comic book at that point. Yeah,
Okay.
you know that's just my interpretation of the shit. What you got?
I, uh, yeah. I mean, I don't know, because we were talking about this whole, I guess this whole woke movement. To me, it just seemed like it's just a lot of motherfuckers whining about shit that not really go affect them. They just feel unheard. Maybe I lack the empathy because me being black, I know what being unheard feels like. So for a motherfucker,
That's a
is
that's a
it?
slippery slope, man.
Why you say that?
Yeah. Mm, if you can't do it here in America, where can you do it at? Do you have a home country?
Do I? No.
Yes,
I mean,
you. Is there any place you can go to get heard or to get support outside of America?
I wouldn't think so.
So when we see other races, hypothetically saying, let's say the Hispanics have a whole
Yeah.
continent to themselves and some islands in South America. So they immigrate here and they say we want representation. But if you go back to their homeland, where's the representation?
I mean, shit, if they go back to their homeland, they got representation everywhere.
No, I'm saying, but where's the
But and
representation for
that
us?
echoes my point. Like when I hear when I hear motherfuckers saying that that they don't see themselves in movies because all the good white people, all the white people in the movies, it was only two of them. You know, all the good white people in the movie, it was only two of them. I feel like that's just whining. If you really want to experience a lack of representation.
Okay, you speaking from the
Well,
white
yeah,
perspective.
I'm speaking from the perspective of listening to what they say, listening to the rhetoric that they're putting out. This is the comment section that you talk about. This
But
is what I see in the comment
not
section.
rather. No, but I'm saying, who are these? Are these white people,
These
Hispanic
whites,
people, Chinese people? It becomes very relevant when you put it in
yeah, these are whites
when you break it down.
for the most. It's you know what, I take it back.
Okay,
It's actually non-blacks, so it's white. It's some Asians, some Mexicans, but I
people
yeah,
who identify as white.
I finna call him Uncle Tom. But yeah, people like that. People
No, Uncle Tom, they
people like
just
that.
identify as white
Okay, yeah.
in America. So
That's how I should start saying
whenever
that.
I come across, I be like,
People who
yeah.
identify as white.
I mean, they go back home. Yeah, ain't no white shit. Ain't no motherfucking Asian going over there. The Asian talking
Yeah.
about I'm a white man. Bitch, man, the motherfucking Asian Chinese will fold your ass up, man. For
Yeah.
real. They be, man, okay. What do you say your name? My name is Young Child. Okay, Young Child, I'm gonna fuck your ass up, Young Child. That's
Looking
what the
on
fuck you get. Like, dude, but they can always go back home and they can
Yeah.
get the representation they want. Like, to me, I think it's BS to expect somebody else, another culture, to think about you or to represent you when you literally have an entire continent that don't
Yeah.
think about nobody but them.
Mm.
You know. So when we say representation for every black representative in America, and we say that we're not represented properly,
Okay.
I agree. But all them other groups and stuff like that, they say we not represented properly. Man, hold your own nuts, B.
Man, when we get off air,
Hold your own
man, in
nuts.
the chat, I'm gonna send you some shit, man. See you some of these waters I'll be treading through, man. Walking this shit, man.
All right, well, hey, man, I'll tell you what, let's close this down because
I
I
know it's
really
all
ain't got
good.
it tonight.
We
But
you know us, we can get long
yeah,
winded, and we really need to pace ourselves. You don't want to do too much sprinting. You know what I'm saying?
no, I'm between tired and starting to get drunk. So you know what I'm saying? Like I know right now I'll get to a point where I start rambling, and truthfully
Yeah,
my energy
I'm right there
just ain't
with
where
you.
I need
Next
it to
thing you know, I
be.
start arguing about simple shit. Like, nah, nigga, because Newton said a circle is by law the diameter. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. And just going.
You know what I mean? Newton stole the light bulb from a nigga, but we not gonna go all into that. I don't like that you bring that up as
Damn.
one of your
Why would you
examples.
think?
You
What
know, he
nigga don't
stole that
like?
from
I've
a nigga.
never heard a nigga say, I don't like Isaac Newton.
Sir Isaac Newton is it's been documented. He stole several
Is
patents
we
from his slaves.
surprised? If you had slaves, you wouldn't steal
No,
from them
but
niggas?
all right.
If you,
Let me preface Tuesday's show.
okay,
I'm gonna be
okay,
sober. I'm not drinking Tuesday.
okay,
Today's show, we're gonna do the name of the show is
okay,
gonna be Fear of a Black Planet.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
So what I want you to do, and I challenge you to do, we're not gonna do current event topics unless it ties into things that result into Fear of a Black Planet. We're gonna name the show and everything is gonna be directly correlated with Fear of a Black Planet.
okay,
Offline, I'll tell you what I mean, and I give you a heads up on it so you can start to research and come up
okay.
with your own
That's
perspectives on
fair.
it.
That
And
work.
that's gonna be Tuesday's show. Tuesday's show, we gonna go back. We gonna how on CB4. I'm black, y'all. I'm black, y'all. I'm blickety, blickety, blickety black, y'all. We going. That's where we gonna go with it. We going with the pro black Tuesday show. That's gonna be it.
Hold up, man. I ain't fucking with you, man. Is there anything?
Mm.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
chopping it
yeah,
up on the
yeah,
after
most
show?
definitely.
All right, well, yeah,
All
let's
right,
chop it
man.
up
We're
for a
gonna
few
close this
minutes,
out.
man.
Good night, good people.
All right, I'm gonna run to the pistol when I come up in about 30 seconds.